Hey everyone, this is Sam Warren with the Houston Chronicle, and I'm back with another film review. This time I'm going to dive deep into CJ Stroud's touchdown pass to Jaden Higgins in the fourth quarter. So let's take a look at it right here. As we can see, it's a beautiful play to get the rookie his first touchdown, but interestingly enough, it wasn't originally designed that way. So let's take a listen to what CJ said about it post game.
Yeah, they were in man. And on film they show like this man where they go help, the best player, the best receiver. So I felt 50 was about to go help Neek, and so I just signaled in a route concept that I thought would work. And so yeah, it was we executed it very well. They did a good job of executing the route plan, but I just seen something and I called it and it worked. So
So CJ's intuition from studying film actually caused the touchdown, as he made a check at the line of scrimmage to change the play. So to see how he was ready for it, let's do like he did and learn from some Titans film. So that coverage that CJ was talking about that the Titans were in on that Higgins touchdown was actually a fan favorite of Titans defensive coordinator Denard Wilson to use on third downs. What that coverage is, it's called cover one lurk. So cover one lurk is a variation of cover one, which prototypically you have pretty much every defender in man responsibilities on the man over them, except for the deep safety who's covering the middle of the field in zone coverage. But what cover one lurk does is it takes the weak side linebacker or the linebacker that's not to the running back side and makes him the hole defender. And in cover one lurk, there's a bunch of different variations of it. The hole defender can cover crossing routes that are coming across the field. They can have eyes in the backfield on the quarterback and basically make their reads on wherever he's throwing. But what Wilson does with his cover one lurk defense is he takes the weak side linebacker and he goes and he doubles the top receiver or the top target that the opposing team has on the play. And this is kind of where CJ has learned, where I think that CJ kind of learned what the Titans were doing with this coverage was in this Rams game that we see right here, where the Titans played the Rams in week two. Reason why I say that is because we already know about CJ Stroud's affinity for Matthew Stafford. He said that he's one of his favorite quarterbacks growing up, one of his favorite quarterbacks to watch. But also offensive coordinator Nick Caley's background with the LA Rams scheme covering that or from coaching with them the past 2 years. Even though that we know that this Nick Caley offense is a little bit more centered with the concepts that he's ran during his time in New England, there's still a lot of knowledge carryover from Caley from Los Angeles, so that helps for his players to watch that film and be able to instruct them on what they're doing and how that will apply to the Texans offense that they're running. So where we see this, where CJ could see this in the Rams game was here on this third down, pretty early in the game. The Titans execute this cover one hold defense to perfection. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see this weak side linebacker Cody Barton. It looks like he's going to blitz here. He doesn't end up blitzing. He's the whole defender on this play. This linebacker here is going to have the running back, and everybody else is going to be in man coverage. And we'll see that from the way that they motion over this defender here. Once we get to it, once this tight end motions in, you see the safety come down with him, so you know that hey, this guy's going to be manned up on him. So it prototypically kind of just looks like a blitz defense right here. That's man coverage with the cover one defender safety coming back. But keep your eye on Barton here, who comes back and he's going to end up coming to Tutu Atwell. But what he's really looking at is Puka Nacua right here. So the Titans definitely know that Puka Nacua is their top target, their top pass threat, given what he did to the Texans in week one. He had 130 yards against them. He basically was the Rams offense in winning them that game with that third down play that he beat Jalen Petrie on to the outside, won the game for him. So the Titans know the dangers that Puka Nacua can present. So what they're going to do here on third down, they know that they want to get Nacua the ball. So what they do is they take Cody Barton from that whole defender spot, go over to cover him. That takes Matthew Stafford's ability to throw to Nacua away. And Matthew Stafford, he kind of sees that pretty quickly. As he's kind of in his drop here, he's looking that way. he sees Barton drop. He gets to Devontae Adams down here pretty quickly. So what that does is, that takes Stafford out of his timing. So this defender gets home, and then that also makes him have to throw to Devontae Adams down here. It was draped pretty heavily by L'Jarius Sneed. The ball goes sailed on him, and what ends up happening is the Rams have to punt. So that was a pretty executed play of cover one hole or cover one lurk by the Titans defense, and that's some stuff on film that CJ Stroud was maybe picking up on, probably picking up on just based on him saying, he saw stuff on film, he saw this coverage on film. So where things get tricky with picking this up on film is that the Titans don't solely drop Barton into coverage from the line of scrimmage when in just that cover one lurk coverage. They'll use him in zone coverage, dropping into places that he's not necessarily doesn't look like he's supposed to be responsible for, but ends up being responsible for. And that's where this causes some trouble for Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense. So what we're going to see here is here's Barton down here. Looks again like, hey, he's going to either be a blitzer. They saw that play beforehand. He could drop out, kind of help out with a defender. But what we're going to see is as soon as the ball is snapped, Cody Barton comes out here and he's going to play the underneath coverage here on the outside of a zone coverage for the Titans defense. And he's going to end up coming down here to this 2-2 at-will out route. But as he drops, Matthew Stafford either doesn't see Barton or thinks that he has enough touch on his ball to get it to Atwell through the out route. But just the athleticism from Barton, he's able to reach back, make this play, intercept Stafford right before the half. So that's really where some troubles come into the fold with this defense is that if Barton drops back or if he's at the line of scrimmage, he's not only blitzing, he's not only playing that cover one lurk coverage, he can play zone and cause some more issues with some of the looks that he's getting. All right, so now we're going to get into what CJ Stroud was actually seeing against the Titans on the field on Sunday. And what we're going to see here is the Titans gives a little bit similar of that zone look with Barton dropping that we saw on that Matthew Stafford interception. So as we roll the tape here, we're going to see Cody Barton down here, and he's going to end up dropping out with Nico Collins down here, the team's best receiver. They know that they want to get the Titans know that the Texans want to get Nico the ball here on situations like 3rd and 10, which they're in right now. So they're going to have Barton drop, and then they're also going to have him play that underneath coverage that we saw on the interception. So what that allows the Titans to do is with L'Jarius Sneed down here on Nico Collins, Barton is going to play the inside, and he's going to take away kind of that inside leverage for Nico Collins to bend it inside and try and get past L'Jarius Sneed. So Sneed is now able to play the outside, and that's just ends up being perfect defense for Nico Collins running this corner route right here. So what ends up happening with that is we're going to see CJ look down here, his first read, he wants Nico Collins. He's not going to have it because of the way that the Titans are defending this. So as he's looking down there, just doesn't really have any options. Pressure starts to get home, so he's going to hit what he marks here on this check down, hope to get the first down. Unfortunately, Woody ends up falling here, probably one of the least fleet-footed plays that he makes the day. He had a spectacular day, as people know. But they end up short of the first down and end up getting a fourth down. They end up converting it. But this is just really what the Texans wanted to convert that third down. They wanted to get the ball to Nico Collins, and because of the way that the Titans played that coverage with Cody Barton dropping, they weren't able to convert that. So an unsuccessful try on third down for the Texans. But maybe this play jogs a little bit of a memory for CJ Stroud when it gets to that Jaden Higgins touchdown. So now we're on to this pivotal play, the Higgins touchdown, and this is where all the pieces of the puzzle with that film study, CJ's intuition, just come together for him to make this check and score this touchdown. And there's a bunch of different factors that go into CJ being able to diagnose this defense and ultimately make the check that causes the touchdown. And the first one that we're going to see here is as the guys get to the line, CJ very quickly calls Jalen Noel into motion. He's going to come across this defense. But before we start talking about what the motion causes. The biggest thing about this motion is that the Texans are in 3rd and 3. They're in a third and manageable situation. That allows offensive coordinator Nick Caley to do things like this, send receivers in motion, be able to have dynamic plays because the Texans aren't playing behind the ball. In the Titans game, the Texans were able to kind of stay on schedule, be able to run the ball a lot. They ran a lot more play action plays, and those were effective throughout the game too. But they ran some motion, and it's really effective here. But when they're staying on schedule, Nick Caley is able to run the types of things that he wanted to, and that's kind of where a lot of the Texans' offensive successes were coming from in this Titans game, as well as CJ making some checks and being able to take control of this offense. But now, as we see Jalen Noel come across the line of scrimmage here on this motion, what we're going to see is the Titans slot defender Roger McCreary is going to follow him. So what CJ is doing now is he's diagnosing this defense. He sees McCreary come across with Noel, and what that tells him is that it's man coverage. He knows that it's man coverage because otherwise McCreary wouldn't be following a receiver across the field. They would be adjusting the defense some other way with rotating some defense over. They wouldn't be traveling an entire DB across the field. So he knows that, hey, McCreary is going to be on Jalen Noel in man coverage. All these other guys likely in man coverage on their defenders or on their pass catching, threats. So as that happens, we see CJ's now going to look at the rest of the defense, and where he's looking now is he sees this defender up here, single high safety Xavier Thomas, I believe. And now he knows that, okay, if this is man coverage, this is going to be some sort of cover one look. You've got this deep single high safety. You've got all these guys down here, probably in man coverage. So this is going to be some sort of cover one. And then from going to that single high safety, he's going to bring his eyes down here to the second level of the defense. So now he's looking at these two linebackers. He looks at this strong side linebacker. He probably knows, hey, he's going to be on Woody Marks because he's on the strong side. So now this is the weak side linebacker. And because of, the formation that the Texans are running and where McCreary is going, he knows, hey, this linebacker is not going to be on Jalen Noel. There's no tight end to stay in here. He's not taking any of these other guys. So he's probably going to be free to do what he wants in this situation. So CJ's probably leaning. This is going to be a cover one lurk in some sort. But then what CJ really kind of, how he's able to make his decision here is Nico Collins is down here. And what did we see from those from those two Rams plays? And the previous play is that when the top receiver is to the weak side of that cover one lurk look, the defender is going to go out and Cody Barton is going to drop and try and help out on that top defender with the safety or with the defensive back because they know that the offense is going to try and get them the ball. So CJ sees all that. He's looking at it. He makes this check, very, very, very quickly. He's able to process all those certain things that we just talked about. Very little time. Jalen Noel is barely even set before he's motioning or he's calling to Jaden Higgins and Dalton Schultz outside for a route check out here. And what CJ is going to call is he sees that this defender is in off coverage here. He sees that this defender is in press coverage here. So CJ is going to call a concept with Jaden Higgins running a slot fade and Dalton Schultz running a hitch route. And why that's going to work against this defense is this press coverage. His first read is Jaden Higgins on the slot fade to get a touchdown if he can, because this is a touchdown worthy play. He knows that there's going to be really no help over the top, especially with where this safety is lined kind of away from Higgins and this boundary side of the field. But he's one-on-one with this nickel corner here. And that's a matchup that you're going to take with a speedy big receiver against a safety in I think it's Amani Hooker that's down here. So if Jaden Higgins is able to win off the line, that's going to be a touchdown every time. And then if he isn't, You're going to have Dalton Schultz up here running a hitch against off man coverage. And with it being a 3rd and 3, Schultz is going to get to the line. He can turn around. If CJ doesn't like this Higgins throw, he can pretty much put that on the money to the outside to Schultz and be able to hit on a first down if the touchdown's not there. But we're going to end up seeing is the touchdown's going to be there. Well, first of all, thankfully for Jake Andrews, he didn't snap the ball because this defender jumped off sides. Thankfully for the Texans offense, that didn't happen. I think Jake was a little bit slow to it. But now we're gonna see Jaden get off the line, beat this defender over here. Great route from Jaden Higgins, and it's just gonna be end up being a great throw from CJ Stroud as well for Jaden Higgins' first touchdown. Okay, so now we're just going to take another look at it from the end zone angle to give you a little bit of a better look on what CJ Stroud is completely doing with this play. So as we talked about, he's going to send Null in motion here. CJ, as you can see, his eyes go out to the defense. He's going to see this defender come over. His eyes then to start to go to the linebackers and the safety here. He sees kind of right now diagnosing what this defense is going to be. Then you see this check right here. He's calling to Jaden Higgins and Schultz to run that slot fade hitch dynamic, and then pretty much avoid the offsides penalty there. CJ knows it. They don't end up snapping it. His eyes, affirm that Cody Barton is going out there. He sees him kind of fade as we go back and look at this. He sees Barton go. As he sees him go, pretty much immediately goes to Higgins. He affirms the coverage. He knows that this is going to be a touchdown if it's open. And it ultimately is. It's a great throw by CJ, great route by Higgins. They score their first touchdown together, and it's a great play. To me, the Higgins touchdown was the highlight of Stroud's day because of all the studying, all the intuition, all the execution that went into it. I also think it's an example of how Stroud can be the catalyst in getting this offense to fire on all cylinders. With talking about Stroud's performance on this play and his intuition, D'Amico Ryan said it wasn't his only check, and he was making them all throughout the afternoon, both in the pass game and in the run game. He also added that those checks were keeping the offense on schedule and avoiding the negative plays that they'd been suffering in the past 3 losses. So by Stroud successfully taking control of the offense in the game, he was able to prevent some of those negative plays and the issues that the team had been dealing with in those losses. And also his control let Nick Caley open up his playbook and call some more creative plays with those motions that we saw on the Higgins touchdown, which in turn help CJ Stroud because he's able to diagnose defenses like we saw with him diagnosing Roger McCreary go over and see that it was man coverage, ultimately letting CJ make the check and throw the touchdown to Higgins. So Stroud definitely had the best game that he's had in probably the past 2 years. He had an 80% completion rate, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. I think 125-1 passer rating, his best since the Cleveland Browns playoff win. But what really impressed me the most about his performance against the Titans was just how he controlled the offense, and that I think that was really shown by this Higgins touchdown. And I also think that control should be able to lead this offense to more success down the line. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate you continuing following with the series. I really like doing them, so please let me know what you think. And yes, thanks.